so much better the second time around, especially in IMAX 3D. My dad isn't a fan of 3D at all, which is fair considering the fact that he grew up in the time of the old classic red and blue 3D glasses. Do any of you guys remember those? What a headache! And honestly, this is how I know my dad was a great dad. Like, he did not like 3D movies, yet he took me to see 3D movies because I actually really like 3D movies. So we've seen a couple. When I say couple, I mean a good handful, not like a lot, just like just one handful of 3D movies, classic 3D movies. And then my whole family put their foot down. They were just like, we got to stop. So I think the last classic 3D movie that we had seen was Spy Kids 3D. So long ago. That's the last one we've seen as a family. But I've seen a lot of real 3D movies since then, and it's only gotten better. Like, I saw a Super Mario Bros. Movie in 3D. That was pretty good. It made the movie bearable. I saw Avatar: Way of Water also in 3D, and that was incredible. So I'm definitely going to be watching Fire and Ash in 3D if it's the last thing I do, which means I might have to go see it twice. That's fine. I need to mentally prepare now, because those movies are long. Because even though Way of Water was phenomenal, there's no way I can ever watch an Avatar movie more than once. And I've watched Avatar 1 3 to 4 times in a row. It's a long story, not getting into it. I also saw Deadpool and Wolverine also in IMAX 3D. 'Twas an accident, but I did see that in 3D as well. But out of all of the 3D movies I've ever seen, especially IMAX 3D movies, this one takes the cake. And if I were to go see Tron again for a third time, and I think I am this Saturday, I might try to convince my friend to see it in 3D. I might be like, can we please just watch it in 3D? It's no longer an IMAX, but can we watch it in 3D? Oh my goodness. I'm just sad because a lot of you guys have slept on this movie and have slept on the fact that it was in IMAX 3D. Again, it is phenomenal. For a film auteur who loves the advancement of film and the technology on the visual side, this is definitely a treat that you're going to want to invest and feast with your own eyes in the movie theater. Or if you are simply ADHD like moi, then you might actually like this, because the visuals paired with the music, my God. Pass the grass. I need to watch this movie completely zooted, because that would be incredible. Yellow, my little film readers, thank you for joining me in my journey to watch every movie ever created. Not really, but we are gonna get close. This is my spoiler-free review. I'm gonna try to do a spoiler breakdown if I have time. I really would like to do it. If I don't, I might do a smaller version of one, but be on the lookout, potentially. So is Tron ARES that good that it garnered two viewings out of me? We're in the midst of 2 wars. Listen, technically it has already garnered 3 because I paid for my dad and mine ticket because I don't have AMC A-lister anymore. So I paid for 3 tickets and I've seen it twice. Honestly, just for Tron ARES, I've already spent a ridiculous amount of money on tickets alone, not to mention snacks. And if I were rich, I would be spending it on merch. All of the merch. But is Tron ARES that good? Or frankly, is it just my hyperfixation? Well, can't it be both? Am I not allowed to have the best of both worlds? Because here's the thing, the answer is both yes and no. For a Tron fan, I would say that this definitely does scratch that Tron itch, at least visually and musically. For a non-Tron fan, this might seem like another flashy sci-fi movie because the script, in all honesty, is not great. But this is where we need to make the distinction between story and script, because I keep seeing everybody talk about story and script and using those 2 terms interchangeably, like they can be used interchangeably, and they can't. Story and script do not mean the same thing, and I would like to try to explain the difference. They're quite similar, but they're not the same. For me, script includes dialogues, characters, progression of events, and how they're set up, plus etc. Story is the meat, the essence, the message. The story for Tron ARES is 2 rival companies searching for the permanence code, 1 malfunctioning AI that wants to be real, and 1 scientist learning the meaning of life. That's the story. It's the script's job to make the story make sense with good dialogue, good character arcs, good sequences, etc. The story sits at a 7.7 for me, but the script sits at like a 7.3. They both pass, but the script is arguably worse than the story itself. What we lacked in this story was world building. The entire time I'm thinking this would be perfect if we had gotten a film right before this one explaining how we all got here. Because there were many moments in this movie where I felt that we could have explored this a little bit more, explored these ideas or these concepts or this world a little bit more, but the script or the movie just feels afraid to do so. For example, we do spend a good chunk within the Dillinger grid, but basically in one location. Opposed to Tron Legacy and the original Tron, we explored the world of the grids, but in the Dillinger grid, we're literally confined to an office. Also, we don't actually see ARES do his primary function, which is protect the grid. He's a security program, just like Tron, yet we never see him do any protecting of Dillinger's grid. We don't really see him do any protecting at all. And that's because the script is too concerned with having so many other angles and so many other discussions that we don't have time to discuss. If this were a better script, I'd argue that we would spend the entire time within the grid. No spoilers, but there's totally a way that would have connected all of everything within this movie without having to suspend your belief that anything in this poorly time managed world can get done in under 29 minutes. If you've seen the film, you'll know what I mean by that. Still, there's Easter eggs galore, but it's like smart Easter eggs. Like if you are a Tron fan, you will be rewarded. I did watch the first two Tron movies literally 2 days before this Tron movie. I set it up. I said day one, day two, Tron ARES, and it was great. Oh my god, I was reminded again why I love Tron so much. And it really does seem that the people who worked on this movie, Jared Leto included, really do love Tron because of these Easter eggs and because of the care that they have for the franchise, for the world of Tron. It is incredible to see. And it's a little ironic too, but to see a movie like Tron ARES, even though it's not great in its overall story aspect, that they still have quite the reverence to its source material. Is it an overall good job? There's a lot of questions to be had with the decisions that they made. But overall, I think Tron ARES is a good addition because of the reverence to Legacy and original Tron. I just think that we needed a story between Legacy and Tron ARES, which is what everyone is complaining, that we wanted a direct sequel to Legacy and we didn't really get that. And I mean, sure, we're moving a little bit backward story-wise. We'll probably get that explanation in an animated series, maybe? But I don't know. Either way, I do think that the script and the story is better than the job that the director did, who I feel somewhat failed to present this story in a more interesting manner. That's not saying that the movie is boring. It's not boring. It just feels very safe at times. And that's how I feel about Tron Legacy's light cycle battle. It just feels safe. And kind of like the weird tone. Like the movie has, like, it wants to be like a hero's journey, but then it quickly turns into like a superhero movie at the very end. It's really odd for the world of Tron, but like it is, again, you're having so much fun that you just don't care. But it also feels very nostalgically like early 2000s, I think. It would make sense if this movie came out directly after Tron Legacy, because this is tonally in that era. Like it does not feel like a 2025 movie. And I do think that is because of the director. That is the director's job, after all, to have a tone for the movie. And the fact that he had this just a really weird tone, that's on the director. So I think because it's played a little bit too safe, 7.1 might be a little too harsh, but that is where I'm at for this. Barely passes. Yet the visuals and the cinematography were really good. Now, I do agree with Grace Randolph when she says in her review that the visuals never do really go any higher than an 8. I would say it gets all the way up to an 8.9. It gets so close, so stinking close to a 9, to an A, but it just stops so short. It just always stops so short. And that's why I say it feels like it's playing everything safe. Like the most jaw-dropping part is in the trailer where the recognizer shoots all of those missiles. I think they were like programs actually. But basically the real world becomes a whole real grid with red lines going everywhere. That's the most jaw-dropping shot in the entire entire, well, maybe not. There's a lot of jaw-dropping shots in this movie actually. But that one specifically is in the trailer, and that one just, to me, I'm just like, oh my god, every single time. But it doesn't really ever get any better than that. Like, the visuals are good, but like the story, like the directing, it just feels safe. And I wonder if I feel that way only because of when I first saw this in IMAX, not 3D, just IMAX. My dad and I sat just a little too far from the screen. I sat in row L, and I usually do row J around that row. I don't like to be too close, but I don't like to be too far, because if you're too far, I don't know, I'm just like, why did we come to an IMAX movie then? Why did I pay? Like, literally middle of the theater. Mwah, sweet spot. You just see everything. You get everything, and it's glorious. It's wonderful. And that's where I sat for my second viewing, was row J, and it was the best decision I had ever made. The movie in 3D is glorious. My god, I would give it a 9. Again, but it's subjective. So if you're not watching 3D, it's not really a 9. But watching the movie in IMAX 3D, I actually noticed floating artifacts that are part of the movie that were popping out that made, for me, brought me into the world, because it was just this very subtle detail that really immersed me into it. So again, watching it in 3D was phenomenal. Especially pairing these visuals with Nine Inch Nails music. What a treat! Admittedly, I was unaware of Nine Inch Nails. I knew who they were, I've heard of their name, but I never really heard of their music, so I sat down to listen to a few of their songs, and I thought, makes sense why they were chosen. I wasn't obsessed, but I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. So yes, I did incorrectly assume that they would basically be a Daft Punk cover band and basically recreate the Legacy soundtrack. So when I first heard the music, the first song, best song in the whole soundtrack, but the rest of the songs are really good. But when I first heard it, I was like, it's okay. But then when I've not stopped listening to the Tron ARES soundtrack the second time I watched it, because it's actually a really good soundtrack, but also doesn't go higher than, for me, an 8.8. There's never really a wow moment in the music like there is in Legacy. Legacy, top tier music. My god, oh goodness me gracious. I grew up listening to that soundtrack, and I don't know why as a child. I think, I don't know, my weird homeschool community were like, half of them liked it, half of them didn't like it. So to me, I was just like, sure, it's whatever, but I secretly loved it. It's so good. It's such a good soundtrack. And the more I thought about the music for Legacy and the music for Tron ARES, I realized why Tron ARES sounds are still techno, but different. They're rougher, they're more chaotic, they're more rock sounds. And that is because this is basically a Dillinger story. This is the Dillinger grid, not the Flynn grid. Within the Flynn grid, of course, things would be more sleeker, more shinier, more refined, including its sound. Whereas in the Dillinger grid, everything is darker, more aggressive, rougher. I actually super like that. When you think about it like that, it just adds another layer to the lore of Tron. Beautiful. So who is ARES? Unfortunately, Tron ARES feels like there's a whole chunk missing explaining who ARES actually is. It's told to us within the first few minutes with a single line what ARES is, which to a Tron fan, a hardcore Tron fan like I am, I gasped because I immediately understood what that meant for ARES. I understood what was going on, and it seems like a lot of everybody did not catch this whatsoever. And I hesitate to tell you because, like, again, it's one of those things where I don't watch past the first trailer for things because I like to go into movies almost completely blind. Sometimes I'll just see a poster for a movie or hear, oh yeah, someone wants to go watch this, and I'll just go watch it. I won't watch the trailer because it's just so much, it's better that way. I don't watch trailers that much anymore. It's a better life. So that's what I did with this one. I only watched that first trailer and I was like, I'm in. So I do hesitate to tell you, but I think if I don't tell you, no one's ever gonna catch it, and no one will ever appreciate this little detail like I appreciate it. So ARES, again, within those first 3 minutes, Dillinger, played by Evan Peters, who creates ARES, tells ARES that he is a combination of both master control program and a security program. And to me, that basically translates as ARES is essentially both MCP, original MCP, because this is Julian Dillinger, the grandson of the original Edward Dillinger, and the original Tron. And that's why he is Tron ARES. He is technically a Tron, just a more aggressive version of Tron. He is both protector and Commander. ARES, Tron, ARES. Isn't that genius? So Tron technically does exist in this movie. It is just not the way that we were all wanting. And the proof is in the pudding, my filmer dudes. In the world of Tron, when a user creates its program, that program looks exactly like their user. So why didn't ARES look like Evan Peters? It's because Evan Peters wasn't really putting himself into that program because he wasn't creating a program. He was taking two different programs and making something newer. He didn't create ARES, he just combined two programs, the MCP and the Tron program. At least whatever little bit of the Tron program that was left that Edward had whenever he left NCOM. He's a master control program with the essential code of a user. By mixing those two separate programs, Julian has inadvertently created something even better than Tron. It's ARES. But I don't think that Julian realized this, and I also don't think that Jared Leto realized this. The fact that no one is talking about this is crazy to me. So I present this to you. This is my own headcanon, and now you're welcome. I only mentioned this because the movie does not go into this, and they totally have room to go into this, but they don't. And so I tell this to you guys because I think this might have been their intention. It was so easy. It was so easy for it to be there, but twas not. But I'll go into it more in my spoiler breakdown. But honestly, this movie was so fun for me. I knew it wasn't going to be the best, and it really isn't. You have to want to enjoy this movie, and that's really honestly the attitude that you need going into any of the Tron movies. You have to want to enjoy those movies if you're going to watch and enjoy those movies, because the points of those movies are not the story. The stories for each movie are actually quite simple, to the point where it's a little frustrating, yes, but there's complexity in simplicity. And the complexity is the world building of Tron. And whereas Tron ARES had lacked in world building a little bit, it did do a good job in at least setting things up for the future. And it is a good and stunning film, especially that post-credit scene. There's one post-credit scene where really it's a mid-credit scene, and it jaw-dropping. I'm sure people have seen it online by now, but my God, I am excited. Who knows? Maybe in another 10 years, we'll get the follow-up to this one. I genuinely hope that they do a follow-up sooner. A movie, a series, I don't care. I just need more Tron. Please, Disney, please. And the fact that Tron as a whole is blowing up on the internet right now, and I don't know, that could just be my own tailored social media page, but the support and love for Tron online is incredible, and I love that. I love that for Tron, because I love Tron. In the end, Tron ARES is such a spectacle. At least it was for me when I saw it in IMAX 3D. When I saw it in IMAX, it was great. But then when I saw it in IMAX 3D, you can ignore any of the flaws that the movie definitely has. But that is not to detract from any of the other good things that come from this movie. And I do think there is some good things for this movie. It's not the best movie ever made, but it is a good movie nonetheless. I'm not really sure if I'm going to do this ranking system for every movie, but these are what I was looking at for this movie in particular. And as you can see, the visuals and the music are what saved this movie, landing it at an 8.1 out of 10. That is it. That is my spoiler-free review for Tron ARES. I enjoyed it. Have you guys seen the movie? What did you think of it? It's okay if you didn't enjoy it as much as I did. I liked it. I really did. Yes, the finale does get a little ridiculous in its believability with the whole 29-minute thing, but it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of this movie? And if you're gonna go see it, you should see it. And I will see you next time. You've just been modified.